Hello and welcome to my video today. There have been cases of people getting trapped inside their Fisker Oceans with the door handles not working on the inside of the car and not being able to get out. In fact, there's been some issues with some other EVs with this same situation. So in this video today, I'm going to show you how to get out of your Fisker Ocean in case this ever happens to you. One thing is the liftgate of the car has the ability to be opened from inside the vehicle. However, it's not made that way from the factory. I am going to show you a hack in order to get that to work. So let me go inside of the cargo area right now and give you a better view. All right, I'm now located in the cargo area of the vehicle. You can see the lift gate right over here on the right side of me. There is a latch that closes right down here, and there's a locking mechanism that has a little pull loop on it where we can pull on that loop and then it releases the lock on the latch. However, that loop is inside this plastic trim and you can't access it. So what I'm going to do today is show you how to do a hack in order to get that latch opening mechanism to work for us in case of an emergency. So let's get started. This is going to be my shortest list of tools needed for a project. First, you're going to need a plastic pry bar or trim removal tool, such as this one. This should work fine. This was going to be used for lifting up the interior trim of the lift gate in order to access the locking mechanism inside. Next, we're going to need a roughly 8-inch long zip tie. You can use any kind you'd like. I happen to be using one that is white for ease of use for visibility in the car. For example, if you need to access this mechanism, I figured white is going to stand out more than a black zip tie in the back of the vehicle. So this one here happens to be a removable zip tie. It really doesn't matter. You can use one that is a just regular zip tie. It really doesn't make too much of a difference. But this is what we're going to be using to attach to the loop on the locking mechanism to release it. So that is that piece. And then lastly, you're going to need some sort of tape to hold it in place against the trim panel so that when you close the door, when you close the lift gate, this will stay in place and won't get trapped inside the weather seal or other areas. So you want this to be attached to the trim so that you can pull it off when you need to access it inside the vehicle. You may need to use something stronger than this. This is just a regular construction electrical tape. You may need to use something as strong as duct tape to attach, since the plastic seems to be on the slick side, and I tried using a gaffer tape and the gaffer tape came right off. So maybe something a little stickier, and then you can attach it to the trim piece. And that's it. That's all we need for this project. Just pull it down like so. All right. Now I'm going to take plastic pry bar, pull down on the edge. There are a number of snaps along here. And you may have to release a few of them to get access to this area. So lowering the trim panel down, you can easily see the loop that's right here. And the two solutions I can think of for this is, if you want, you could drill a hole right here through the trim panel itself using I would say maybe somewhere between a 1/4 inch and an 1/8 of an inch drill bit, and then you could get something to grab onto this loop through that opening. But what I'm planning to do in this video is attaching a zip tie to the loop right here, and then routing it through this corner opening right here, and then down towards this area here where I can just tape it to the outside trim. And then if you ever need it, you can just pull on that zip tie, and then this latch will disengage. I originally had some in-depth designs for this. I was going to use like a steel wire along with a latch pull type of tag, and I'm throwing that out the window and just using a simple zip tie that you can purchase for practically nothing so that you can have this safety feature in your Fisker Ocean. So let me do that right now. I will pull the trim down here, and then I'm using a 8-inch or longer zip tie. I'm using a white one since that will be easier to see inside the car. So if you have an emergency, you can pull on this. It'll be much more noticeable than if I used a black zip tie. So I am going to insert it through the opening. Sorry if I'm blocking this with my hand. And then simply fold it around and then insert it into the end. Cinch it up as close to the loop as we can. All right, I'll give you a better view now. So now you can see the zip tie is attached to the loop, and just pulling on the zip tie will pull the loop. So at this point, I can guide all of these trim panel pieces and clips back into their original position and then lock them into place. I am going to grab my flashlight so that that doesn't get lost in there. All right, at this point, I am going to put all of these trim clips back into place. Snap into position. Now you're just going to see this dangling down. So let's do a quick test. I am going to push the lock into the fully locked position, as you can see right here. And then let me pull on the zip tie. Yeah, that doesn't seem to work, does it? Let's see. How about if I pull it from this angle? Ah, there we go. So what we need to do, let's test it one more time here. Push this lock in. So if you have the zip tie towards this side of the vehicle and pull on it, pulling it from this angle seems to work. So what we want to do is test this when we have the liftgate closed, and I'm going to sit inside the car and try to pull on this and see if I can get it to open. So it seems like a quick pull will activate the mechanism. So let me close it and see what we can do. I'm going to put some tape onto this zip tie and just put it right here. So here's what it looks like. We have our latch right here. We have the zip tie right here. I just put some tape on it right now to hold it into place. One problem with this trim panel is it's very slick, and I'm having a hard time finding anything that will attach to this. So I am just using some tape right now. I was using some gaffer tape and it didn't stick too well. So I'm just using this here just as a quick attachment to keep this in place when I close the lid so that I can do some testing. All right, now we're going to close the lift back. So I'm going to remove the tape, and we have the zip tie right here. from what I've seen in the original testing, I feel it works best if you take the zip tie and pull it towards this direction. So let's see what we can do. There we go. You heard that? And then we push up. And when we have access to the lift gate opening. Let me try it one more time. All right, I'm going to close it. All right, so now it is locked. Here we go here. We are going to pull towards the right and then push it open. So the test is working. So now I need to find the best way to keep the zip tie attached to the car, because otherwise, if you don't, let me aim this up so you can see. So if you don't have the zip tie attached to the trim up here, it's going to get caught down below and you may have a problem trying to reach it. For example, if I just close it right now, let's see what it does. Oh, well, that may have been just good luck doing it that way. But yeah, so we have access to it like this. So, interesting. Let me try a full open and a full close. All right, it is fully open. Now I'm going to close it. All right, so you know what's helping here? The zip tie has a natural bend to it at this angle. So if you are installing this, make sure that the zip tie is, let's see, the smooth part is towards the liftgate and the rough part is on the outside here. So that will cause this to bend. So actually, if you want to be super, so honestly, the way that this works, you could probably just leave it like this without having anything attaching the zip tie to the car. Just in case, I'd probably like to put something on here so it's just not dangling. And then you could just put a piece of tape right there. Like I mentioned, tape is not sticking well to this plastic. But otherwise, if you can do something like that, that would be great. But otherwise, it still seems to work. Let me try it one more time. And it is working. So yeah, so I've tried it a number of times now. And another thing I would suggest is when you're done with this, push it up a little bit and then push it towards the corner. So it's like this. So that gives the loop enough room to go back to its original position. So yeah, so that's one thing I would like to suggest if you're doing this. And then that should be about it. So this is a super inexpensive way for a safety enhancement on your Fisker Ocean. See, right here, I had a little bit of a mishap where the zip tie goes underneath. So yes, there may be a situation where the zip tie may get trapped underneath there and you may have to use your fingers to grab it. If you had smaller fingers, you can get in there probably easier. So let's see. So we're way doing this without causing a problem. Yeah, so you can get it out if you happen to have it trapped in there. So that's it. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you prefer to do for this safety mechanism? Do you think that doing it with this section that goes through the corner piece where you don't have to cut anything is really the easiest solution? Or do you think you should drill a hole if you want to have direct access? So the hole would be roughly around this area right here, and you'd have a piece of whatever you want to use, a piece of steel or another zip tie or something like that coming through here that you can pull out. So that's another option. Some people, I think, recommended maybe putting a grommet in there so the plastic doesn't chew up whatever you're using as a latch. So it's up to you. And like I said, any suggestions for improving this design, please let me know, and I can always do an update video on this. And thanks to the Fisker Owners Association, I've been working with a number of people on the discussion group that have come up with this idea, and I am very happy to give them my gratitude in coming up with this, because it is a easy solution for a safety issue of the car. In case you ever get locked in the vehicle, there is a way to get out through the lift gate through this latch mechanism. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.